Hello, I'm the PC expert amateur, and today we're going to be looking at a Zalman fan. And this fan is the ZM-DF14 with red LED in there. And on top of that, it has a speed switch button, 3 speeds, using this little button right here. So it's a little bit special. It also has corner cushions. It does not come with screws. It only comes with silicone pins. And this is a 3-pin. So let's take a closer look. Let me show you what it looks like when there's power going to it. There we go. Obviously, I've got to turn it up to really make it nice and bright. And I believe the flickering is deliberate because they did give a special name to this LED. They called it a super dynamic LED. I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but it's interesting that it does flicker on and off by itself. And, there's no control over it, though, unless you turn off the power, of course. And as you can see, the fans have double blades. So there is an outer ring of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then there's an inner ring of 9. So technically, we can say that there are 18 fan blades, which is, I've got one other fan, and I think it's also a Zalman that has this design. So it's pretty interesting because we also see that there's a notch cut out of the larger fan blade so that I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what the purpose is, if that is to help reduce noise or what it is. I do know that the inner ring is to help concentrate more air in the center. But aside from that, I'm not entirely sure. So it is a very visually interesting looking fan, and I don't think you realize what just happened here. This is a reverse fan. Normally the air blows out this way. This blows out this way. And it's not even really advertised on the box that much. I mean, it says reverse structure, but they didn't say it in big letters or anything like that because some people are really zowie about reverse fans, and there's all kinds of information in here, the kind of information you'd expect in a Noctua case box, I should say. So let's evaluate this together and listen to the noise, and we're going to start it out. And I believe this is on low. Now I can hear a low hum coming from it. I know you want to see the LED, don't you? So I'll just turn it around. It'll blow on me. That's okay. I'll survive, probably. I do have a sore throat, though. Where's it? Every once in a while, I catch the sound of a low-pitched hum that only lasts a second or two. And I'm not sure what that is. Now, this has an EBR long life bearing. I couldn't find much information about it other than it's a fluid dynamic bearing, but 350,000 hours. So let's go ahead and push the button and put it up one notch. Oh, wait. It was on full. Oh my gosh, I got it backwards. I reset it before I started to low, and it must, when you turn off the power, it must automatically go back to full. Sorry about that. So this is low, which is supposedly 600 I think 600 RPM, something like that. Yeah, I think it's 600. All right. So on 600 on the low speed, I can hear the low hum constantly, and a little bit of air movement, but not very much. Very little pressure, but there's a lot of air coming through. Now let's try the now that's definitely louder, but not obnoxious. Excuse me, not obnoxious. I don't hear the low hum quite so much now. Let's try up on high again. Now that's substantially louder than low and medium, 6,900 and 600, 900, and 1200, if I understood the chart correctly. So yeah, it's theoretically a very interesting fan. I don't know if it actually lives up to the reason they reversed it is they wanted to reduce the friction with the frame. I'm not exactly sure how this accomplishes that. Maybe somebody with an engineering degree can explain that to all of us. And oh, by the way, I know this is a 140 millimeter fan, not a 120, but I just, I couldn't resist. We haven't looked at any 140s yet, and I think it's time to see at least this one. So now let's compare to the noise of the Noctua. I don't hear it yet. I'm starting to catch a very faint noise. There it is. You can hear that high-pitched noise, whereas the Zalman doesn't really have a high-pitched noise. It's fairly low. It's getting higher, louder. I don't know. I can't say which one is louder. Let's turn off the Zalman. I think they're similar in noise level. Yeah, it's a visually interesting fan to look at, especially when it's not moving, right? When it is moving, you can see something is going on there. You can see that line in the middle, which, is also interesting. And then when you look at this side, it's kind of like, ooh, X-Men. Yeah, there you go. So this is a 140. And one of the things I like about this, a lot of these fans have the cable running along one of these arms and then out through a hole in the side. And they often come out of that hole because it's an open hole. This one has a closed hole coming out of this leg here. And I really like that because some of the fans I've got, like on my Frozen Knot AIO that I've been testing lately, it keeps on coming out, and it's very, very annoying because it's not the channel is not well designed to keep the cables in place. So I really am happy with Zalman for doing that. And I don't often see fans that do that, unfortunately. So if you can please help me, please like, subscribe, and share to help build my channel. And then I'll be able to get better equipment, more testing equipment, and build a manometer and do other things that I can't do right now, and give it access to my database to my members. Okay, so the ZM-DF14RL, and it's a reverse fan, even though it's not part of the model number. There is some kind of a long number listed at the bottom of the label on the fan hub, ZE14258 Oh boy. What else? Oh no. 1425 BSM DF14RL. So that must be the full. Man. I'm sure there's some kind of a system behind that, but I don't understand what the system is. And that's okay. I don't need to. So let's go ahead and run through the specs of this fan. It is a white and black frame with gray blades, and it's very cheap, only $9. And some of you are saying, well, there's got to be something wrong with it. Well, yeah, well, you can say that, but if you'd say that, then you have to say that about the Arctic P12 PST PWM and the Arctic P12 Max and several other very inexpensive fans that are actually pretty decent. So, you know, fans are not supposed to be expensive. It's just that these companies have kind of gotten greedy about it. And they charge way more than it costs to make the fans. Why? Because then they can get a bigger profit, make their company more profitable, potentially, you know, pay the few employees that they have directly, because, you know, the Chinese are doing most of the fan making, them and the Taiwanese and the Vietnamese, I think, as well, and maybe some Indonesian companies. But yeah, so it is certified CE and ROHS, made in China, 140 by 27 millimeters. So it's a little bit thicker. It has like I said, a 350,000 lifespan. It's possibly a 1-year warranty, but I couldn't actually find it because the listing for warranties for fans did not include the ZM models. So I don't know if they haven't updated the website or if there is no warranty or what, because it wasn't explained. It's just it's the, what did I say? Oh, super dynamic LED light. Maybe I'll put that in there, super dynamic, because, you know, that sounds so really incredible. 159 grams, 9 plus 9 blades. So I'm going to actually, I don't know, should I keep it like, I want your opinion. Should I keep it as 9 plus 9 in the database, or should I do a little equation so it's equal 9 plus 9, and that'll show it to 18? Because technically it does have 18 independent blades. And the mounting hole spacing is 125 millimeters. Minimum RPMs, well, 600 theoretically. You know, if you're not counting what the minimum is at startup. 1200 is the maximum. 10% variance. 63 CFM of airflow. 1.1 millimeters of water for the static pressure. 16.5 minimum for the noise, and 28 for the maximum. And you know, compared to the Noctua, which claims to be 22.6, which I don't believe, and it's not got as much airflow or static pressure as the Noctua. It's about less than 50% for the static pressure and more than 50% for the airflow. But, you know, it's a decent case fan, and you could probably use it on a heatsink. It'll probably be decent on heatsinks as well. And the power cord's 41 centimeters long. You can't daisy chain it. It's a 3-pin DC, and the EBR bearing, which is a long life fluid dynamic bearing. 12 volts, 3 watts, 0.25 amps. I wanted to say grams. I don't know why. And they didn't explain the wattage. They didn't separate actually the information for the LED. So that is actually encompassed by the information that I've already given. And then it does give direction of rotation and flow. It's a counterclockwise fan based on looking at it from the support structure on the one side of the frame. And it has no screws, or it only has 4 rubber pins and the corner cushions. And it's the first one that I've done that has a 3-speed, but unlike the other fans, which have switches, yeah, this one's a button. So I kind of like that. It's easier to deal with. And the other fan companies, they make these switches kind of difficult to move from the outside to the middle. You can easily flip it from high to low or low to high, but to get in that middle spot takes a little bit of finessing. And yeah, so there's nothing else as opposed to the Noctua, which comes with all kinds of stuff. You know what it is. You know, the fan's got screws and pins and gasket and corner cushions and an LNA and a splitter and an extension. Yeah. But you know, at $9 a pop, I think this is a really good deal, especially for a 140. So, you know, if you're looking for a 140 and you don't need it for a radiator, because this is not a radiator fan, this is definitely something you would want to take a look at.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.